I don't know about you guys, but trade season in the NBA around the trade deadline time is not only the most exciting time of the year, but I feel like this year it's already getting off to a way better start than it did last year. Already we have a trade from the Portland Trail Blazers and New Orleans Pelicans sending CJ McCollum to New Orleans for Josh Hart and some other guys. But we also now have Sacramento trading for Domantas Sabonis in exchange for Tyrese Haliburton, Buddy Hield, Tristan Thompson, and I believe some picks as well. Now, let me start with Indiana because obviously they are trying to tear down the team that they built up. Even though they didn't build it into a contender, they built a solid team considering the fact that they're not going to get a lot of free agents. They're not going to get a lot of big name stars to go to Indiana. They have to build the stars themselves. And they did that with Domantas Sabonis. They've done it in part with guys like Miles Turner as well as a young guy right now in Chris Duarte. And now they add to that with Tyrese Haliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson. Now, a lineup that has Duarte, Haliburton, Hield, and, if they keep Miles Turner, I guess he'll be there. Whoever will fill in at that number 4 spot, probably O'Shea Brissett, I think, plays the 4 a lot for them. So, they have a young, athletic, a quick team now in Indiana that I think they're going to build into something really good. The problem, obviously, with almost every single trade you can look at in NBA history that the Sacramento Kings do, they obviously got the worst of the deal. Now, I love Domantas Sabonis. I think when you talk about someone who is a natural 4/5, a natural big man, Domantas Sabonis is up there in the likes of Joel Embiid. He's up there with somebody, he's up there with the top tier big men in terms of a somewhat old-fashioned big man. And not only does he bring the old-fashioned stuff, he brings the ability to pass like his dad did. He brings the ability to run a offense through him and through what he does as a 4/5 big man. And for that, Sacramento does get a really good player to play alongside De'Aaron Fox, Davion Mitchell, and I guess Harrison Barnes at this point. The problem is you probably could have got more out of Tyrese Haliburton, and you probably could have done the exact same trade, switching Haliburton for De'Aaron Fox. I think it's very obvious that Sacramento really wanted to make Tyrese Haliburton the star of their franchise. And now, all of a sudden, they trade him for a big man who hasn't been an all-star in 2 years. Like I said, I love Domantas Sabonis. I think he is an incredible player. I think he is an all-star caliber player. But what's the point of developing someone like Tyrese Haliburton, who you took early in the draft last year? You obviously made it very, very obvious that he is going to be the star of the future. And then you just trade him away. What? Neither of these teams are going to make the playoffs this year. Neither of these teams are even going to sniff the play-in game. However, if you're doing this in Sacramento's, here's the statement that you make. Here's the statement that you make. You would rather have someone like Domantas Sabonis, which again, I think Domantas Sabonis is a really good player. I think he has a chance to get back to all-star caliber level if he has a good team around him and if he plays well. Here's the thing. When you develop someone like Tyrese Haliburton into the position that he is right now, as let's just still consider him a king. Let's look at his stats as the Sacramento King. He played more minutes than anybody. He played in the second most games. He had the best three-point field goal percentage. He was the best free throw shooter on your team. He was the best facilitator on your team. The next closest guy is almost 200 assists away from Tyrese Haliburton in terms of production. Nobody plays defense as well as Tyrese Haliburton on this team. In fact, Tyrese Haliburton was only second to Rashawn Holmes in total blocks this year for the Sacramento Kings. He led the Kings in every single statistical category except for turnovers, which is a good thing. You built Tyrese Haliburton into being the best player on your team, and you trade him away the moment that he gets to be that. What does that tell the young guys on your Sacramento Kings roster? What does that tell Davion Mitchell? What does that tell other young guys that you're trying to develop in the future? That as soon as they become a solid piece for your team, they get traded away for something. Let's be real. The Sacramento Kings are getting 99 cents to $1 for this trade. Tyrese Haliburton's really good, and Domantas Sabonis is really good, but let's be real. Indiana won this trade. So for the Indiana Pacers going forward, I actually really like their squad. You know, they're now a solid 4-man away from being a playoff team, because when you look at this team now, Tyrese Haliburton is a all-star caliber player going forward. Like I said, he was the statistical category leader in every single category for the Sacramento Kings this year so far. And except for points. Okay, except for points. Sorry. Now that you have that, you have someone else in Chris Duarte. You have if you keep him, a good star. He is a star, big man, in Miles Turner. And, you know, who knows what happens in the offseason? Who knows what happens with TJ Warren still, if he's going to come back to Indiana? Who knows what they do with the bench? Who knows what they do with the coaching staff? Rick Carlisle is a really good coach, though. And now that he's got 2 young guards that are really good, Indiana is going to be a force to be reckoned with. They're already, you know, when you compare them to the other bad teams in the NBA, Indiana is the best bad team in the NBA. And Sacramento just made them a whole lot better.